I'm Gary Tomei, and I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease several years ago. I'm quite honored to join you today and to introduce this brave group of individuals, knowing we will all leave today with new knowledge and understanding. Last April, I was sitting in one of those chairs, sharing my story in a To Whom I May Concern performance. When I first decided to do this program at CaringKind, I must admit I thought, why am I here? Isn't there something better I could be doing with my time? But over the course of my group's 10-week meetings, I learned the incredible value of sharing my experiences with other people, discussing similar problems and hearing how we are all navigating our cognitive changes. It is so uniquely powerful and important. And doing this in partnership with wonderful facilitators made us feel seen and heard. It was life-changing. What you need to understand is that what you're about to hear are real life experiences. These are the words of their words, excuse me. These are their words, our words woven into this creative production. These individuals have shared their stories and worked together with their facilitators, Rochelle and Olivia, over the past few months to create the script that you are about to hear. I personally believe that there is nothing better you could be doing with your time today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ellen, Florence, Martin, and Deborah. Listen now to their true tales. Ladies and gentlemen, to whom I may concern.
Eat breakfast.
Morning meditation.
Appointment 11:15. Refill prescriptions.
Take a nap.
Yoga.
Go to the doctor again. Dentist, 3 p.m. Check meds.
Dinner plans with friends, 7:30 p.m.
Right. Cognitive stimulation therapy group, 1 p.m. Sometimes I think my life has been reduced to calendars and post-it notes. What was life like before post-its were invented? Those little yellow scraps of paper, they're like my memory these days. They hold important dates, numbers, and appointments. As long as I don't lose them, I'm okay. My memory isn't so good. I've really become self-conscious about it. Actually, I'm embarrassed. I wonder if people understand that's been happening to me. I try not to let anyone know, but it takes a lot of energy, and I need my energy. If I could only get across to them, my family, friends, the people I live with, people who try to help me, if I could just let them know what it's like to be me these days. Maybe if I wrote a letter, an open, general letter to all those who care about me. Here goes. To whom I may concern. I know you think I made a mistake. You think I meant to whom it may concern. but it's not a mistake. The letter is not an it, a nameless, faceless object. This letter is about an I, and that is me. I'm writing to let you know what it's like to be me these days. This is not just any letter to some unknown person or persons, a form letter that complains or advises. And don't worry, this isn't going to be one of those general holiday letters either that people send to brag about their above average children and hyperactive schedules. No one brags about the way my life has changed. Actually, most people don't even let others know about it. We keep quiet about this. You see, I've been diagnosed with a dementia. Sounds bad, right? Actually, it's a terrible word to lose one's mind. But you can see that I haven't lost my mind. I have some problems, yes, but I'm still managing one day at a time. I want to share with you what it's like to live with this terrible disease. Yes, it's a terrible disease, but that doesn't mean my life is terrible. I want so much for you to understand that because I think it would make you more comfortable when we're together. I can't always find my words when I'm with you in person. Actually, that's part of the problem. Sometimes my mind goes blank, and by the time I find the words, you've already moved on to the next topic. I'm hoping the letter will be a better way to share my thoughts with you. A letter allows me to find the words without losing my attention. So here goes. Let me start at the beginning, which takes me back to the first days of memory tests and CT scans. Those were scary times. I've spoken to many others who have gone through the same thing, and for all of us, getting a diagnosis was the beginning of a whole new chapter to our next lives.
Dear mind, my beloved mind. How did we get here? I remember sitting in a chair one day, just like I am now, and standing up saying, I'm losing my mind. I called my friend, the doctor, and told him I couldn't remember things. I was losing you. He referred me to a neurologist. I'm not one to see doctors often, so going meant something was wrong. After the tests, the spinal tap, everything, I got the news. Alzheimer's. It felt like a door slamming shut. It was so sudden, like a snap of my fingers, but strangely it was also a relief. From what I read, it was all lined up. It's been over a year now, and I still say, I'm losing my mind. I'm not afraid of you. I understand that's what's happening, and I know what to do.
Dear neurologist, when I went to Memorial Sloan Kettering for cancer treatment a few years back, I remember feeling a little bit like Alice going down the rabbit hole, but in the best way possible. They guided me every step of the way, gave me all the information I needed, and made me feel taken care of and prepared. In contrast, the experience with this recent diagnosis was unsettling from the very start. My first indicator that things might not go well came right after the spinal tap. The team administering the test didn't communicate what was happening. It left me feeling confused and anxious. I had questions but felt shut out. When you, my neurologist, first gave me my diagnosis, I felt almost as if I'd been tossed out into the wild without a map. I didn't receive resources, advice on how to adjust, or even a clear path forward. It was a brief meeting, and the shock of it all left me reeling. This was a huge difference from my experience at MSK, where every interaction left me feeling supported and understood. It wasn't until we came back a second time with more specific questions that we began to feel your support. You connected us with a social worker, spent more time with us, and took the time to explain things. I truly appreciate that you have since become more responsive to my needs. However, I can't stress enough the importance of that initial conversation. The right guidance at the very beginning can make all the difference, especially for someone facing a diagnosis as daunting as Alzheimer's. Going forward, I hope we can work together to make this journey feel a little bit less overwhelming.
Dear bedside manner, I didn't realize at the beginning of my journey just how important you were to a patient's experience until I found myself surrounded by doctors who had none. I started forgetting things all the time. It was unsettling, especially when I never used to forget anything. For years, I had a successful career in marketing and PR. Actually, I never wanted to retire, but looking back, I realized it was the right decision. At the time, I had no idea that something was wrong, and I certainly didn't think it would be dementia. After a long series of tests, that's what the doctors told me. Hearing that news was shattering. It didn't feel real. It was such a shock. The hardest part wasn't just the diagnosis, it was the lack of empathy from the doctors. I expected compassion, but it wasn't there. They delivered life-changing news as though it was just routine. It didn't occur to me at the time that they should have been more helpful. It's been an incredibly hard journey, one made harder by the absence of something as simple as a little bedside manner.
Dear sons, when you first told me to get testing, I must admit I thought you were crazy. I didn't think I had any problem. Ma, you keep repeating yourself, you kept telling me. But as far as I was concerned, I wasn't repeating myself, you were. However, you told me enough times that I decided to check into it. I've had cognitive tests before. Since my mother had dementia, I went to my doctor regularly to make sure my brain was aging appropriately. So I truly thought it would be the same this time around. However, I found I couldn't follow all the directions and I was making mistakes. I came away from that session very worried. That's when I was diagnosed with Mild Cognitive Impairment, or MCI. So ultimately you weren't crazy, but I still find that I am very much me. I feel I am very high functioning, but there is no question I am not as much myself as I would like to be.
To whom I may concern. Yes, the diagnosis and evaluations are difficult times that don't go away. They're confusing and painful. In the days leading up to the diagnosis and for a long time afterward, you're pretty much in shock. You want answers, but at the same time, you really don't want to know. And for many people, in the end, they only get a vague diagnosis.
Could be Alzheimer's.
Might be depression or ADD.
Can't be completely sure it's Alzheimer's.
Etc., etc. Feels like a crapshoot. They give you a handful of pills and a new appointment in 6 months. 6 months! My life has just gone out the window. And they say, see you in 6 months. What do I do now?
We adapt. Actually, some of us adapt old school strategies to make them work for us now. Or we use new technology. Everyone finds a way to cope. I've heard some amazing stories from people who are going through the same thing as I am. Many of them are on the stage now.
Dear words, you keep slipping away. It seems like a small thing, but it happens over and over. I can't seem to find you. I have things I want to say, but I can't. It's so frustrating. In one moment you're here, and the next you are gone. What helps is listening to others. I learn from their perspectives. I write down what I hear, even if it turns into scribbles that I can barely read later. It's enough to know it was something important. I'm grateful each time I sit down with my group members. It feels like we're all in the same boat. If I don't find you, I know a few words stay with me. Is it what it is what it is? It is what it is. Those are words I could live by, and that's good enough.
Dear MCI, I think I got a softer landing with you as a diagnosis. I felt and continue to feel that I am doing just fine most of the time, if not all of the time. Now, if the doctors had presented it to me as dementia, it would have been a much different landing. I don't know how I would have taken it, but I feel cushioned knowing it is just MCI. I do live alone and am widowed, so through all of this, I have got my aide, Sandra, who has been a huge help. Yet I still do many things on my own. I get the mail independently, do exercises at home, and I have recently gotten into yoga. As an author of 12 books, I am now in the process of writing my memoir, which will include what it's like to live with this diagnosis. I feel I can be more independent than others think of me. And maybe it's because of this lighter landing. I just don't feel like I have dementia.
Dear moving forward, working out has been a lifeline for me. When I first got my diagnosis, I dove into learning everything I could about it, looking for answers and ways to cope. The more I read, the more I realized that moving my body could be one of the best tools to keep me steady and strong. At the start, I fell a lot, not just physically, but also emotionally. Each time I got up, took a breath, and kept going. Some days the struggle brought me to tears, and I've come to see that crying, it's okay too. Emotions are part of healing, and sometimes just allowing yourself to feel can be the thing that keeps us moving forward. If anyone out there needs to hear this, you are not alone. Stay strong and keep moving one day at a time.
Dear Ice Cream, life feels heavy sometimes. It's hard what we're going through. There's a constant pressure on all of us with this diagnosis. Sometimes it feels like people just skate over that. Focused on winning an argument, it's exhausting. But when things get hard, I find that there's something wonderful about going outside, whether it's for a run in the park, or in my case, more of a stumbling walk. But it helps. That's where ice cream, this is really important to me. That's where ice cream or gelato, depending on where I am, comes in. Whatever works, right? Time's ticking, so eat gelato. It's one of life's simple joys. And when things get overwhelming, ask yourself, is this really important or not? I ask myself that all the time now. It won't erase the pain or the stress, but it helps me manage how I face it. It's a mantra of sorts. Reminder that your pain may not go away, but you can control it some way. Just remember that gelato melts, so place it in the freezer.
To whom I may concern, so we're doing our best to adapt, to continue living our lives, but the ground on our feet are shifting. These early days are difficult. Not knowing, suspecting. For some people, the awareness comes quickly because they already have a family member or had a family member with cognitive loss, a mother, father, or a sister. Hard to fool yourself when you've already lived through it with a loved one or friend. But even if you know what Alzheimer's, FTD, Lewy body cognitive loss is about, living days to day to day is a real challenge. Forgetting, that's part of it. Thoughts come a bit slower, words missing, your mind going blank. Somebody summed it up so well in one little phrase.
Just give me a minute.
To my 3 daughters and Simon, from Portugal to New York, I love you all so much. You have always been there for me. I feel I can always be open with you. This new chapter with Alzheimer's feels like just another part of our story together. I have so much gratitude for each of you, whether it's helping me soon on Zoom or giving me reminder calls. You're always thoughtful and patient as I work through challenges. I know there's probably some sadness involved, but you understand I'm doing my best. I never make you feel like I'm hurting you with this diagnosis. Thank you for all of it.
Dear Italy, Italy was full of moments, our trip was full of moments where I learned to ask others to adapt. Sometimes when I'm trying to say something, the most basic kind of word doesn't come to me right away. And when people try to fill them in for me, it doesn't really help. But even then, I don't feel less than anyone else just because a word escapes me. Eventually, I'll find it, and it turns into a pleasant exchange. I can still be part of the conversation. It lets me feel more human. It's wonderful when I go along with that river of thought. What was I saying again? Oh, right. One thing I noticed while traveling in Italy was that we were all the same with language, struggling to find the right words in Italian. It put us all on the same level, which was refreshing. We'd look at each other and share a laugh. No one had an advantage, and that felt good.
Dear family, when I was diagnosed, I didn't even need to ask my family to adapt. They just took it upon themselves to find a way to help. My daughters have come together in ways I never could have expected. One of them, a math major in college, is amazing with numbers and helps me with forms and organizing my finances. My other daughter, a lawyer, is invaluable with paperwork and any legal concerns. They each took a piece that matched their skills, and to this day, it remains a family effort. They're generally eager to find ways to support me. I'm so grateful for how my family has come together.
Dear Sandra, when my grandchildren were babies, you came to the rescue as their nanny. Now I have inherited you as my aide, and I wouldn't want it any other way. You are a get-up-and-go person, which I would describe myself as, too. We go shopping, to the library, and to CaringKind together. Ultimately, anything to get us out of the house is always better. Even though you don't let me get away with anything as much as I try, you know what is best for me. I must confide. Since I've received my diagnosis, I have had many friends drift away. So to have you by my side now helps with that pain. You have been a constant in my family, and I know they are grateful too. You make every day a new adventure. So what's next for us to do together?
Mm-hmm. To whom I may concern, the words and the memories come slower or not at all. This disease has a way of silencing you. The plaques and tangles in my brain are doing their job, whatever that is. But we're not the only ones who are changing. Dementia has a way of changing people around us, too. We have friends and loved ones and even healthcare professionals who treat us very differently when they learn that we have cognitive changes. The disease can bring the best in people, and sometimes, sadly, the worst. I've heard stories that really warm my heart and others that make you cry.
Dear AA community, you've been my team of friends for 40 years. Being in recovery with you has made it easier for me with this new diagnosis. In this community, I was used to connecting with people who are recovering or facing their own struggles. I found I could be more vulnerable and have more confidence. I don't feel like I need to hide anything about having Alzheimer's. If I hide my diagnosis out of fear, I wouldn't feel right. If sharing my diagnosis doesn't sit well with someone, that's their problem. Whether it's AA or Alzheimer's, I'm here for all of you. I honor whatever decision someone makes about sharing their diagnosis. For me, being open feels like the best way forever. That has to do with my commitment to all of you.
Dear friends, the biggest challenge for me during the Italy trip was dealing with exhaustion. When people kept saying, let's do this, let's do that, it took me longer to keep up. Explaining to others that I needed a bit more time got tiring. 13 days of trying to keep pace with all the excitement was incredible, but also overwhelming. Sometimes I just needed space to catch my breath. True friends understand that and give you the time you need. If they don't, well, that's probably more about them than me. Thankfully, I was on this trip with people who know about my diagnosis, which made me feel more comfortable. I've also been part of the NYU Buddy program, where a student visits me. We go for walks, go to museums, and that's been a big help. Overall, whether it's with understanding travel friends or my NYU buddy, sometimes just being with people who get it makes all the difference.
Dear old friends and new friends, one thing I've learned on this journey is the importance of being open with others. The more I share about my experience, the more I've discovered who my true friends are. Some friends have adjusted beautifully, stepping in with support and understanding. And though I've lost a few along the way, I've gained new ones. Sometimes all it takes is just two people having a cup of coffee, sharing a moment. This small connection reminds me I'm not alone, far from it. Even as things change, there are new friends and new connections waiting to be made. It keeps life full with its challenges.
Dear family, somehow it didn't matter so much when I wasn't going through this to talk about these things. Hearing from others around me, I've been coming to terms with what's going on with myself. I feel like it's a beast I am uncovering, and I need to know how you feel. I am so concerned all the time with not wanting to be a burden. Am I inadvertently pushing you all away because of this worry? I question whether the distance I am putting between us makes me not as good a mother or grandmother as I should be. The last thing I want to be is the mother that I had. However, I am making progress. A month ago, I shared this concern with you all, and immediately you dropped everything and came over for support. You insisted on coming to the CaringKind walk, and that alone was enough for me. But the grandkids are also showing up, and it has been great. I now understand that this was not only important for me to share, but you wanted to know as well. This beast I have been so scared of turned out to be a revelation of support from all of you. I still find it hard to ask for help or share what I am feeling through all of this. But I know to do it now, and that you will be there for me no matter what.
Kindness can ease the pain of an embarrassing situation. Humor helps too. When I told a friend recently that I had this memory problem, he came back with a quick joke. Don't you owe me $20? Things can be great.
I like to think that we have a built-in get-out-of-jail-free card. Our memory loss can get us out of sticky situations.
Only if we remember to use it.
Right?
Well, in this group, you're in good company.
I couldn't agree more. Now, let's get back to the letters. To whom I may concern, some doors open, others close. But through it all, we hold on to hope.
Dear mind, my beloved mind. This is my mantra. The phrase that comes to me when I first started experiencing the changes. It's what I remind myself on every day. I carry it with me wherever I go, and I honor it. Just the other day, I was doing laundry in the basement. I went down to check in things a million times. It was frustrating. But through it all, I kept talking to you, calming you down. My mind, my beloved mind. I do yoga every day to nourish you. I connect with my loved loved ones to exchange you. You are me, I am you. My mind, the beloved mind.
Dear hopes and fears, as I think about my future, my biggest hope is that I survive, not just physically, but that my personality and sense of humor remain intact. That's what really matters to me. In college, I took a lot of sociology classes, and one lesson that stuck was how people can sometimes become defined by their illness. I don't want my diagnosis to become my identity. I want to keep being me, to hold on to that spark that makes me who I am. What I wish for is simple. I hope people can slow down a bit to let me keep up. It's not because I want to make things difficult. I genuinely struggle to remember half the words sometimes. So as I go forward, I hope I can keep being myself without feeling that like I have to be overly cautious or let my diagnosis become all that I am. That's the kind of survival that matters most to me.
Dear audience, I dreamed of being a singer, an actress. I was drawn to the power of stories and the way they connect people. This program is a reflection of that same spirit, where people living with mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's, or other forms of dementia share their personal stories. These heartfelt experiences remind that life continues, go beyond a diagnosis, full of moments worth hearing and understanding. Being a part of this program has been a full circle moment for me. No speaking on stage, I have an opportunity to contribute to a space where voices are heard and valued. It's a reminder of the power of storytelling to foster empathy and bridge gaps between experiences.
Dear memoir, growing up I had an amazing dad who always told me and my siblings we could be and do whatever we wanted, as long as we were willing to work for it, because nothing was going to come easy. His presence in my life and those words were tremendously helpful and guided me to where I am today. I write you to reflect on my life, all that I have accomplished, and how I'm living in the present despite my diagnosis. I want to capture my highs and lows and all that I have learned in between. I'll write about how hearing other people's stories has helped me reflect on my own life, whether it's Martin inspiring me to travel again, Deborah and her yoga lifestyle, or an afternoon outside of CaringKind groups with Ellen. I want it all written down with hopes that maybe it will help someone in the future. Those memories mean a lot to me, and they're a part of who I am. Thanks for being here, memoir. You're going to hold on to these memories for me.
To whom it may concern. What more can I tell you? Let me just end by going back to the eye of your concern. You can see from our stories that we were ordinary people trying to make the most of a difficult situation. We don't want to disappear. We're doing all the things the experts say we should be doing. We exercise our minds and our bodies. We keep up with research. We take our pills. We also try to forget. I know that may sound funny, since forgetting is the heart of the problem. But we try to forget about our illness so we can reclaim and embrace our lives. Give us a little relief or respite. We do not want this to define us. We are more than our memory. And on that note, let me end this letter. Enough about me. How are you? Let's get together sometime. Let's get together soon. And thanks for listening and for your concern. Fondly, Ellen.
Hopefully, Deborah.
Gratefully, Florence.
Affectionately, especially to my long-suffering wife, Cynthia. Martin.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good. Let's put our hands together for our amazing cast. Ellen, Florence, Martin, and Deborah. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to ask that you go ahead and find that card that was in your program earlier. We asked you to write the 3 words on. And I'm going to ask you to flip it over to the other side. And I'm going to ask it again. Please write down 3 words that come to mind when you think about someone living with mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's disease, or another dementia. So while you're writing your words, I want to introduce the other co-facilitator. Michelle, can you come up to the front, please? Michelle Monterasa. And we'd like to invite you to join us today in a talk-back discussion. So if anyone has any questions, or if any responses to what I'm going to ask, please raise your hand. And Annabeth and Rochelle both have microphones that are on, and they'll come over and bring the microphone to you. So would anyone be willing to share some of their before and after words? The words that you wrote on your cards. Gary. I got Gary. What did you have the first time?
First time I had impaired, struggling, reaching for connection. I haven't finished my thoughts now, but the first thought I had was moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Moving forward.
And inspirational, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you all for your bravery and for your inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Anyone else, would you like to, I think I saw a hand here. Would you like to share your before and after words?
Sure. My before words were scared, still, and lost. And my afterwards were funny, introspective, and energetic.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Would anyone else like to share their before and after words? Anyone from that side of the room over there?
scared, sad, and confused.
Mm.
And after was insightful, brave, and remarkable.
Mm.
Thank you. How about one more? Would anyone like to share your before and after words on your cards?
The first one was
Rochelle will come over to you with the microphone. We don't want to miss those words.
The first one was, the first three were care, sad, and hope.
Mm.
And the, thank you. And the ones currently are listen, friend, and hope.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Thank you all. Is there anything that you noticed about your words? Anything that had surprised you from the beginning and after of those words?
Negative, positive.
Negative to positive. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for participating in that. And it's one of the very special parts about this program is that the audience becomes a part of the shared collective with our audience, with our group. Actually, we open it up to you all. So I have a couple more questions to open up to everybody. Was there anything that surprised you about the performance?
I think it was funny.
We had some humor. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else want to share? Yeah, Eddie.
Deep awareness of their situations and of themselves, that they still are struggling, but holding on to themselves, who they are.
Beautiful. Anyone else? Oh, in the back there, Michelle. We're coming to you.
So the strength that you all had when you were having such a difficult conversation with us, and how you kept it together, and you were able to share so many details so calmly.
Thank you. Does anyone? Oh, yes. Annabeth is right behind you.
Oh, there you go. I was very impressed with how well you described your predicament. You know, and I can relate to a lot of what you were talking about. Having had a mother and a father, one had dementia and one had Alzheimer's, and so it brought back a lot of memories to me.
Thank you.
I thought you were very brave.
I'll just repeat some of that because for the microphone, but that you were saying they're very brave, and it reminded you of some of your own experiences in your life with family members. So thank you for sharing. Does anyone have any questions for the performers? Yeah, Martin's ready.
I have one. I could look it up on Google. But how do they do a spinal tap, or what does it tell them? Does it go like the APOE4 gene, or what does it? What do they do?
It tells them that it tells them that there's plaques, whether or not there's plaques, and other things too. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's something that has come up in our script often. That in that very first theme when we're writing our script and gathering the information, Rochelle and I, to put into the script, those first instances of knowing, feeling like something's changing, and then what that process consists of in terms of going to doctors, looking for a diagnosis, knowing something's wrong, and very many times our stories and our letters have included the spinal tap of that. Yeah. Gary.
I would like to ask you all, were you reluctant to participate in the manner that you had in this forum?
No, not at all.
Was it intimidating? I mean, I think it would be intimidating for me.
So the question was this intimidating?
I didn't feel, I welcomed it. I didn't really And I wanted to hear what other people were going through and wanted to compare my own experiences with theirs.
Yeah.
But
wanted to ask you, Deb, what kind of writing do you do?
I do nonfiction
Nonfiction?
writing, and I hope to be writing about my experiences that I am going through, right now as we speak. Yeah.
There's a lot of writing going on in this group, in very many ways. Would anyone else like to share? Was anyone reluctant to be a part of this experience? Deborah's shaking no.
No, happy to be here. Yeah.
Martin, how about you?
It isn't easy, but it's rewarding.
Ellen?
I find it incredibly helpful. This has been going on with me for some time, and it's wonderful to see a room full of friends and people who care. It makes it worth going on.
Does anyone have, oh yes. Oh, Rochelle will come to you with the microphone.
I wanted to know if this was the first time that you were talking about this to an audience, or have you done this before?
That's the first time.
First time.
First time for almost everybody? Oh, Ellen, you might have.
I've done it before,
Ellen.
but I don't think the
Yeah,
others
I
have.
haven't.
Yeah. Great question. Yes.
How long does the process take to create the performance?
So this group is we've met for 10 weeks on Zoom. And I also have to share that yesterday was the first time we were in the same room together, reading our script. And today is the second day we've been in this. So it's a really beautiful process. Even though we're on Zoom, the sharing of experiences creates such a beautiful bond. And the shared lived experiences really strengthens that. And so when you come in person, it seemed like on my end, I'm not sure for you guys, you've been in the room before many, many times before that moment.
I have a question, well, just generally.
It's
It's okay? Did you guys create your scripts on your own, or did you guys help each other work through different words or what you're going to talk about, or how did you guys do it?
I think we did it on
We did it on our own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rochelle, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, and
Well,
all of
except
the
we
words.
had the help of our wonderful Olivia, let's not forget that.
Well, a lot of what we did was, these were all their words, as you mentioned. These are things we heard, and so while Olivia was kind of asking the questions to gain what was going on, these were their experiences that they were sharing. So I was scribbling all the notes down to get these words to then form these letters that were these common themes throughout the sessions that we had.
That was the intimidating part.
And the real important thing is that when we do share these letters with our cast, that they give the okay, that it's made to sound authentic and true to their voices. We had another question up front.
Hi, okay, I laughed and I cried. I appreciated all of your words and your thoughts. And I wanted to say thank you for the letter about bedside manner, because I hadn't thought of, I think that was a real equalizer for me, thinking about my, myself and my mom, and that idea of just, here's your diagnosis, and then you just, I don't know, that really resonated with me a lot, and I didn't realize that it is a common experience. So not just that, but just listening to your thoughts, what you're saying, talking to your mind, your mantra to your mind, all of these things that even though we all are individuals, these shared moments are so powerful, and I really appreciate being able to witness you guys sharing with us and with one another. And I think it's insane that you are first sitting here together now, and you had done all these things over Zoom. So just thank you guys so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I wanted to go to that bedside manner point too.
Yes.
I was angry. Yeah. You made me angry. All of your doctors were such jerks, you know. And is that just, you know, I have some nice doctors, some not, but this is a devastating diagnosis. Is this typical across the neurology planet?
I think it is.
And then the other thing I wanted to say is you're so eloquent. I can't even believe it. So the writing was beautiful.
Unfortunately, you know, I feel some of Martin's line just came up in my head as I was hearing the both of you speak, which is being thrown out into the wild without a map. And also same with Ellen and your words about bedside manner. And so this is why we do what we do here. It's important to hear the lived experiences of the people that are sitting in the chair that you're working with, and so that's why we do these programs, so that it can be shared with other professionals that can have a better understanding of what it's like to be sitting in that seat when you're giving the diagnosis, these information, and everything that comes along with that experience. So we thank you guys, because you don't know how impactful one little ripple effect can have from doing something like this. Does anyone else have any questions for our brave cast here?
I just wanted to say that Martin and I came to the April performance, and he was inspired by that performance is what made him want to come today. So if there's anyone here, that's just the effect it had on him. So he learned a lot, he saw a lot of shared experience, and it really is a wonderful program.
Thank you so much. It's absolutely true. If anyone is interested, feel free to stop any of our staff members here, and we have more information about the programs, how to be a part of this. But seeing it yourself can be really powerful and moving, and encouraging to join in it yourself. Any other final thoughts or remarks for our cast here?
Awesome.
We have another hand back there. Awesome. I heard awesome. I echo awesome for you as well.
Thank you, first of all, for sharing your thoughts and feelings. This was very impactful for me. I'm the daughter of a mother who was diagnosed. And I guess my question would be to any one of you who can answer it. What would have been, or what would you have liked for someone to say, or maybe treat you or say differently, you know, like when you first were diagnosed? Because like with my mom, she is having a difficult time. She keeps alienating her family. And that has been very painful for me to see. And I'm trying my hardest to try to help her. And I've been the only one so far standing by throughout this whole time. It's been a couple of years. But you know, what would you have wanted, you know, your family to have said, or maybe how they have treated you, like back when you were first diagnosed, and what would you have wanted to hear from them or have them do for you?
Thank you. Does anyone have any advice for family members? We've talked about that a lot in our cast, in our scripts. But any words of advice you would have for family members and how you would like to be acknowledged and treated?
Would you want to?
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you're the experts here.
My older daughter is an attorney, a partner in a law firm somewhere downtown, and she loves to take over every situation, everything. Forget about just here. And she's doing it out of the goodness of her heart, but I would like to be able to say to her, hey, I'm not gone yet. I'm not gone yet. I'm still here. Because she's so, I guess, being a lawyer, you have to have a lot of stuff going on. What do I
I hear what you're saying, Ellen, though, but there's a balance, I think, of, and that probably is depends upon everybody in each individual situation, but there's that balance between, I think in your letters you talked about your daughters jumping right in.
They did.
And that was very helpful.
And they still do.
And they still do. And then also, knowing where the person themselves can continue to do things for themselves, and that independent advocate and being their true individual selves is very important.
Yeah.
And we'll take Karen Lee, and then when we have some closing messages once we're done.
I have a question regarding if it is really hard to confront a doctor and tell them, well, I wish you would have done this differently. And I, as a patient, have been there, and it's been really hard to advocate for myself. So I wonder if any of you did reach out either to the doctor or to someone in the hospital to express your concerns. It's really hard to do that.
Did anyone have any of our cast up here have the experience of reaching out to your doctor and letting them know how they could have done things differently? No. It's hard in the moment, right?
Yep.
I think what some of this process has done is that looking at things in retrospect, how you would have liked it to be done differently. And it's a common theme that comes up many times in different casts of ours, different versions of this. So yeah, it's a hard thing to do, but also being here and sharing that is the more that we can share what that is. I'm going to pass the microphone off to, thank you everybody for your responses, and also thank you to our audience for asking questions. It's great to have the feedback.